Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday the 12th of July. So we start looking with the euro dollar, and well, we didn't end up with the bearish pivot swing I was looking for the day before, but we've yesterday ended up in quite a bearish old day there. We're now pushing on. Not really doing too much at the moment. Consolidating, I think, is the word I'm looking for. But it's certainly, even my revised trend line I've moved across yesterday, that's now broken, so it's I can put the trend line further and further down. It would be horizontal soon. So it's certainly broken this trend, and it's having seen that spike that occurred yesterday afternoon. I say spike, but it's on a 4-hourly basis. It's a bit of a spike. We've now seen that sell off as well, so it's looking weak down here, and we may well see a continuation. Only thing in the short term which may make us hang in there is there is the daily pivot untouched at the moment above, so it may be well worth holding through. We saw this yesterday. It took some time before we could do too much, and well, just didn't do too much at all on the euro dollar there. It just took so long before it actually moved there. Again, it sold off in the afternoon, as I said, but now we just got to be a bit patient this morning. Good thing, I like these movements through the Asian session. I don't mind if it spikes up a little bit, and I think at the moment I will be looking to sell into that daily pivot if it gets there. If it just breaks on the low side, well, it needs to be a little bit careful in case it's just a break and a bounce, and we see a bounce, but otherwise I'd be looking for the S1 there at least. Pound, so go to dailies first there. That 2, it never had such a bearish looking setup, but that 2 has broken through that trend line that it was sitting on the dailies here and the 4-hourlies. Again, a bit indecisive of where it wants to go at the moment. It may just come back for the underside of the weekly pivot, but it's also got, more importantly, it's got the daily pivot sitting there, and it's just edging its way towards that at the moment. If it can, again, maybe a sell point around that sort of zone, may just pitch through that. I've got a 30-minute 50 here. Let's just make this into a 60-minute chart. It's better. So, but that 30-minute 50 is 60-minute 200 sits just short of it, but may just pitch through those levels, and then we'll see how it moves from there. But the pound I'm more distrusting of in terms of the price action for large periods. It's particularly yesterday. It didn't do too much the day before. It's in this really tight consolidated, well, I say consolidated, yeah, it's probably pretty consolidated phase. So not so keen on trading it at the moment. Dollar yen finally got the shove yesterday that took it beyond its prior highs there. So finally got some real clarity. It looked very unclear yesterday morning with a shooting star whether it was going to pitch down again, but a good solid move yesterday and a follow through this morning. So that's tracking well on its way. It's just look at this weekly, and this was the important thing, because yesterday it had come into this trend line, but now but it was the 4th hit. So as I said yesterday, it could well pitch through, and it has. Now target wise, we're looking for in terms of possible resistance points is that weekly 200, I guess, maybe even further. Okay, so but intraday wise now it's maybe getting a bit toppy where it's sitting here. May get some correction as divergences going on and all sorts here and different time frames, so we could get a bit of a rollover, but we'll see. It may just be held into the 60.21, but if it does push through there, well, there's the daily pivot below. Aussie dollar followed its route south. Looked bearish yesterday. Had already moved quite a chunk there, and but did pitch on and push through the weekly pivot. It looks soft from earlier in the week there, pitching up and selling off, but has finally rolled over somewhat. and it's already into its daily pivot. Now, if the other markets are pushing up, well, that may be a bit of the dollar weakness coming through, so we may just see this pitch through a little bit further. But if all things were equal, it does look like a point of possibly shorting point here, but it's already tested this daily pivot, pulled off. It's obviously, you can see on this bar here, it's gone lower, pitched back up again, so it may just mean it's going to run through it a little bit. That's the Aussie dollar, and finally, almost, Canadian dollar. So the Canadian dollar, it put a pivot swing in day before, triggered that, but yesterday we had the Bank of Canada meeting, so we had to play carefully on that. And well, it did have an immediate reaction to the meeting there, but then shot up, and he's pulling well away. Now that again could just pull back to, I mean, a lot of these markets are quite a way away from the daily pivots, may just come back to daily pivots. As I say, we're seeing the pound come back as I'm talking pretty quickly, and we may see some of these markets correct a little bit more. So that's where we're sitting at the moment. If this fails to correct, well, we'll watch for movements, but not keen on the movement as it sits on this Canadian dollar. It may be just a case of patience and wait for it to break past yesterday's highs. Right, that's pretty much it for this morning, apart from the news, of course. I should mention what news is coming out today. So let's just run through that briefly. So we've got the Bank of England credit condition survey this morning at 9:30. It doesn't generally do too much at all. ECB monetary policy meeting accounts. Now, they, as I've said in the weekly update, and I'll say it again, they used to do absolutely nothing at all up until about 3 or 4 months ago, when we found out Draghi had been lying in the post meeting, and they had been talking about things they said they hadn't been talking about, and of course the markets jumped all over the place. Since then, we've seen more volatility coming from these meeting accounts, so watch out around about 12:30. After that, we've got the US inflation data. Again, that could create a bit of a kicker. For anyone that's in the New Zealand dollar short, at 11:30 p.m. we've got the New Zealand manufacturing index, but I don't think that's going to be a major mover. But there we go, that's it for today. So at the moment it does look like there's some dollar strength coming through these markets to a degree. We'll just watch out for a bit of a retracement this morning maybe. Have a great one. Bye for now.